In 1908, a young journalist sat down with one of the richest men in the world. Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate worth $480 billion in today's dollars, leaned forward and said something that would change the course of personal finance forever. He told Napoleon Hill that the secret to his success could be distilled into a formula, a repeatable, teachable system. And he commissioned Hill to spend the next 20 years studying the most successful people in America to prove it. The result was a book published in 1937 that has sold over 100 million copies. A book that has been credited, directly or indirectly, by more self-made millionaires than perhaps any other in history. The title said it plainly. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is not a book about positive thinking. Don't let the title fool you. It's a systematic examination of the psychology and habits that separate the wealthy from everyone else, drawn from interviews with Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, and over 500 of America's most successful people. If you've ever wondered whether there's a real practical framework behind financial success, this book argues there is. Here are the 7 principles that form its core. Hill doesn't begin with strategy. He begins with burning desire, not a wish, not a preference, a specific, obsessive, non-negotiable intention to accumulate a definite amount of money by a specific date through a specific plan. This may sound abstract, but Hill's argument is practical. Vague financial goals produce vague results. I want to be rich someday is not a plan. It's a daydream. The people Hill studied shared a common characteristic. They decided with precision what they wanted, what they were willing to give in return, and by when. That specificity changed the way they made decisions every single day. Every major financial decision you make is shaped by your clarity of purpose. A person with a burning, defined financial goal will choose differently at every fork in the road, and those choices compound into dramatically different outcomes over a decade. Elon Musk didn't sort of want to build an electric car company. He committed to a specific, seemingly impossible mission and structured his entire life around it. That level of defined desire drove decisions that no reasonable person would make and produced results no reasonable person thought possible. Hill's second principle is one of the most misunderstood. Faith in his framework is not religious belief. It is a trained mental state, a conditioned conviction that a goal is achievable. He called it self-confidence applied to a definite purpose. The reason this matters financially is well documented in modern psychology. People unconsciously behave in ways consistent with their self-image. If you believe at a deep level that wealthy people are a different kind of person, luckier, smarter, more deserving, then you will unconsciously avoid the actions that build wealth. You'll talk yourself out of investments. You'll shrink from opportunities. You'll find reasons why that's not for someone like me. Building faith in Hill's model means deliberately reprogramming that internal narrative through repetition, visualization, and selective attention to evidence that wealth is possible for you. Studies on investor behavior consistently show that individuals who believe they can learn about investing actually do invest and outperform those who outsource all financial decisions due to lack of confidence. Self-efficacy around money is a measurable predictor of financial outcomes. One of Hill's most counterintuitive findings: formal education correlates poorly with financial success. Henry Ford never finished grade school. Edison had almost no formal schooling. Carnegie left school as a child. What they had, what all of Hill's subjects had, was specialized, applied knowledge in their field. Hill makes a distinction between general knowledge, what most schools provide, and specialized knowledge, deep expertise in a specific domain, combined with the ability to organize and direct that knowledge toward a definite goal. The latter is what creates wealth. The implication for modern earners is direct. Stop collecting credentials and start developing rare, applicable expertise. Find the specific knowledge your target market values and become the best possible source of it. Knowledge only becomes power when it is organized and applied toward a concrete outcome. A real estate investor doesn't need an MBA. They need deep, specialized knowledge of a specific market, local pricing trends, zoning laws, contractor networks, and financing structures. That knowledge, applied repeatedly in the same domain, compounds into multi-million-dollar portfolios. Breadth is impressive. Depth is profitable. Hill defines the mastermind as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for a definite purpose. Every wealthy person he studied had one, a group of trusted, high-caliber individuals who challenged, supported, and sharpened each other. The financial logic of this is not mystical. It's structural. You cannot know everything. You cannot hold all the opportunities. The right network multiplies your reach, your knowledge, and your opportunities exponentially. Every successful investor, entrepreneur, or business builder has relationships they can call when a deal needs to move or a problem needs solving. Hill goes further. The quality of your inner circle is one of the most powerful predictors of your financial trajectory. Surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, not people who share your current comfort level. The PayPal Mafia, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, and others didn't just build one successful company. They went on to collectively found or fund companies worth trillions of dollars. The network effect of a single mastermind group compounded across decades into a disproportionate share of Silicon Valley's wealth creation. Hill found that successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. The financially struggling tend to decide slowly, paralyzed by analysis, and change course rapidly at the first sign of difficulty. This pattern is financially lethal. Markets are volatile. Businesses face adversity. Real estate deals fall through and require creative restructuring. The person who abandons a sound strategy after a bad quarter will perpetually miss the recovery. The person who commits and persists through difficulty accumulates what the quitters left on the table. Hill calls persistence the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. It is not stubbornness. It is the disciplined refusal to surrender a well-conceived plan to temporary discouragement. Every fortune in history has a chapter that looked, from the outside, like impending failure. Amazon lost money for the first 9 years of operation. Bezos made a decision and persisted through years of analyst skepticism and shareholder concern. Today, it is one of the most valuable companies in human history. Persistence wasn't incidental to the outcome. It was the outcome. Hill dedicates significant attention to the subconscious mind, specifically its role in shaping financial behavior without the conscious mind's awareness. Every financial habit you have, every instinctive response to money and risk, is running on subconscious programming built up over years. Autosuggestion is Hill's term for deliberately feeding the subconscious mind with new information, written goals read aloud daily, affirmations, visualization. It sounds soft. The mechanism is not. Repeated, emotionally charged input changes the baseline assumptions on which your decisions run. It's behavioral reprogramming before behavioral science had a name for it. The practical application: write down your financial goals with specificity. Read them daily. Attach them to real emotion. Do this until the goal feels inevitable rather than aspirational. Athletes have used visualization techniques for decades with measurable performance results backed by neuroscience. The brain processes imagined experience similarly to real experience. Financial goal setting with visualization follows the same mechanism, and decades of anecdotal evidence from successful investors and entrepreneurs support it. Hill's final principle is the most advanced and the most earned. He calls it the creative faculty that develops only after the previous principles have been internalized. It is the intuition that high-performing investors describe when they say they just knew a deal was right or that a market had turned. This is not magic. It is the result of years of deliberate practice, deep specialized knowledge, and trained pattern recognition operating faster than conscious analysis can follow. Every great investor, Buffett, Dalio, Lynch, talks about a gut-level read that goes beyond the spreadsheet. That read was built, not born. The takeaway is this: financial intelligence is not fixed. It is built through study, experience, and disciplined practice. The sixth sense is the reward for doing the work. Peter Lynch, who managed the Magellan Fund to a 29% annual return for 13 years, described finding his best investments by paying attention to what products his family was using and why. That wasn't luck. It was a trained intelligence that spotted consumer trends before Wall Street analysts did. Napoleon Hill spent 20 years studying the wealthy so he could hand you the map. The territory is yours to walk. Think and Grow Rich is 87 years old and still generating millionaires. The principles don't expire. The question is always the same. Are you willing to apply them? Like this video if it gave you something. Subscribe for a new book breakdown every week. And in the comments, which of these principles do you think is most underrated? I'll see you in the next one.